Hello viewers, you're welcome to the Midday Show live on ECWA TV Africa. And as usual on the Midday Show, we look at various activities that takes place in the country that we hope to visit. And hopefully when you stay with us throughout the show today, we shall be visiting one of the most family-friendly countries and also one of the countries that is known to, have lots of electrified cars. I am Sela Elisha Dasham, and as usual, I have my beautiful and wonderful sister, Linda Phillips. Linda.
Good afternoon, Sela.
I love you.
I love you too.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hope you're great.
Very well.
Oh, okay. So let's go straight to the country because I'm so excited to visit this country.
Right?
I think I'm excited to visit almost every country.
Every country, of course.
Because there are lots of things to learn, lots of activities, and also lots of etiquettes to learn. So that in case I find myself there, I know how to
go about it.
Yes, and just like I said, we shall be visiting one of the family-friendly countries. And I know you'll be, wondering which country are we looking at. Actually, we are taking a trip to North Europe, and we shall be visiting Norway. Yeah, you heard me right, Norway. And it's a very great and a fabulous country because the country has been ranked to be the fourth richest in Europe. They are quite rich in that country, looking at the fact that they have various means of contributing to their GDP. Apart from the petrol, they have fishing, they have farming, and another beautiful thing about the country is the fact that they have lots and lots of mountains in that country. So just in case you're the type that love hiking, that would be a very beautiful place for you to visit. And also you're permitted to set your tent anywhere, as far as it's not a private property. So I know people would love to visit that country. And the capital of Norway is Oslo. And it's very great because most of the inhabitants of Norway, actually most of them, I think about 3.33% or so of the inhabitants of Norway actually reside in Oslo. So you could tell that, lots and lots of activities are, happening in the capital there. And their system of government is monarch because they have a king there. And they practice a mixed economy. So that's the way they do things in that country. And they have a population of over 5.4 million. I think they're not that much. So it tends to give, time for the government to get to check control things, know how things are done, and to make sure that things are moving well in that country.
Yeah, talking about Norway. Norway is actually a beautiful place, and the love culture, their culture over there is very, they follow all the things they need to do, and they love nature. Actually is somewhere that you want to go, like it's natural. Because going to Norway, and then that you're going to be in a safe place, you're going to be happy, you're going to see beautiful things, and you're going to have all lot of excitement and all you want to do. So like Norway is, to say they are over 5 million, and then the government is actually controlling them, the government is taking control of everything that is going on there, you understand. So Norway is a peaceful place, and then talking about I think it's one of the fourth richest country. So you see, like talking about being rich, and then they can in Europe, so they can actually do a lot of things, like their economy and all they can do over there, just to bring up people together and to do all sorts of exciting things, and then to visit places, to do all sorts of things. When you say Norway is over 5 million, you think it's little. Okay, it's little compared to some other countries, but then talking about their religion over there, they are more of Christians over there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they tend to do things that is going to please God. They tend to do things that is going to please other people, to make people happy.
That's why it's called a family friendly. I did the opening with that because during my research I just got to realize that even as a man, when your wife gives birth to a newborn baby, like the first 3 years, you're permitted to take a leave. And if you're taking 80% of that leave, you're having 80% of your salary if you are to take half of that break, and you have 100% of your salary if you are
when you come back. So
it's beautiful, that the maternity leave is not given just to the women, but also that the man gets to play an active role in the life of his child. I know while you're talking, the country is actually surrounded by other countries. We have Sweden, we have Finland, and also have Russia. These are some of the countries that are it's by the east side of Norway. So there are other countries that are by the side. So you can actually tell that some of these countries that are by the side of Norway. If you look at the countries we mentioned, there are also countries that when it comes to controllers of petroleum, when it comes to people who will I say export petrol. I mean, they are rubbish holders with it, and it's quite a lovely country because the climate here is wet and mild compared to east and the north of Europe. And then when during winter it's quite cold, so you could actually see that. That's why you could see even from the clothing some of them have, you could actually tell that during winter the weather is actually very cold. So if you're a foreigner or a tourist or a student while visiting Norway, you should be quite prepared that you have to actually keep yourself warm. And another beautiful thing about Norway is that it has about 2/3 of Norway, actually I said, filled of mountains. So you can actually tell that when you eventually find yourself in Norway, like there are lots and lots of mountains, very beautiful mountains, and it's something that someone like I that love hiking.
Of course.
I really love fun over because there. I love nature, so they have lots of that.
Nature is beautiful, so you can't tell me that when you see beautiful flowers or mountains, you don't want to climb or you don't want to take pictures for the memories. Talking about Norway, it has more wealth and less population, and then that's why the standard of living over there is high. Because they're little, like they're not much over there, and then so they tend to control things, and then the petroleum, oil and gas that they have over there is what is actually increasing over there. So they have a very high standard of living over there in Norway, and then that is why it's very easy for them to achieve that, because they can't actually say they're fighting a lot of things or they can't achieve something, but then for the fact that they're wealthy over there, so that is why they have the highest standard of living over there. And I think it's actually quite interesting.
It's interesting, because it was even ranked that I think in 2017 Norway was tend to be one of the happiest country in the world.
You see?
So definitely from all you're able to achieve, I mean, it should show on your your life expectancy.
I mean, you have money, so like
you'll be happy, right?
And
even though money doesn't buy happiness, but
at least to some extent
you can be happy, right? Well, I mean, this will take us to the economy of Norway, because they say Norway maintains the Nordic welfare model with universal health care. They have a way of, when it comes to their health care, they take care of it. So if you're living there, it's like you barely pay little or nothing. When it comes to their health care, they take care of the citizens well. And they said the country has the 4th largest per capita income in the world on the World Bank. Yes, of course. And they say this includes anonymous territories and regions. Norway ranks as the number 11. It has the world's highest sovereign wealth fund. So like almost every citizen that resides in Norway has a percentage to this, wealth fund. And they discover all this, like I say, they gather all this wealth from just petroleum before discovering into farming and fishing, because they didn't just, they're not concentrated on only petrol, because we know that sometimes oil wells can dry, but they see what other aspects can they get, create wealth out of. And even when it comes to tourism, I mean, they're doing well when it also comes to tourism. And I think later on, when our viewers stick, they will actually, get to see some of the tourist sites there. And still on the economy here, they said Norway has the highest human development index ranking in the world since 2009. And is a position they have held previously between 2001 and also 2006. And it also has the highest inequality adjusting ranking per when it comes to like since 2018. So when it comes to the economy, it's not just about the men. Like they don't have this thing that has to do with inequality. No,
actually,
both the men and the women play a key role when it comes to contributing to the economy of Norway. So I'm really excited that it's a country that don't have this segregation when it comes to women. They have the women play a vital role when it comes to everything that they achieve, and to make sure that this country is really doing well. And just like I said earlier on, that they practice a mixed economy, so they don't just depend on the government, but there are also means of how can they contribute and make sure that they maintain a very high GDP when it comes, whether it's petroleum, when it comes to farming, or when it it comes to fishing. These are other, things that they look into to see, and they pump lots of money into that, sector. And that is why we can see that it's even showing on their happiness, it's showing on the family friendly and every other thing. So it's really something, Norway, it's really a great and beautiful country.
Yeah, of course. And then when you're talking about Norway, you say Norway also has one of the lowest crime rates.
Very great.
Like really, like such a country with their own money, and then yet there's no crime and all of that.
Actually, they said
lowest.
So, yeah.
So I said Norway, the economy there is an example of a mixed economy, which you said earlier. Then he said that they have the lowest unemployment rate. So it's more like it is extremely low as compared to other countries, and then the world, which makes it extremely productive. So like talking about saying it has the lowest unemployment rate, and then you tend to finish school, but then the problem they have over there is that you cannot have your own private company or your private business and stuffs like that.
Well, what you think? I think if you ask for my opinion, possibly the Norway government thought it wise that when people are into the private sector, the government, or I say government enterprise, is not giving so much attention. So for the sector to grow properly, because if you check when it comes to other sector, when it comes to government things, people actually don't take it serious compared to that when it comes to private. So I think it's actually something that the Norwegian government actually thought it wise, that it's better we give all our focus and attention to what belongs to the government and do well about it.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. And then saying that when you visit Oslo, you will definitely find plenty of jobs over there, and then in the telecommunications and then technology sector, they said poverty rate is low, and then you have to see this extremely high, whatever it is you're doing there, but then the wage rate is extremely high.
Yeah, very, very high. Well, maybe possibly you could tell from their they actually have lots of money, and so the workers, they are paid, because it's one of, when you're counting the best countries, 10 countries that pay their workers well. Norway is actually part of those countries. So I think it's actually great. Possibly that is why the residents don't have a problem paying tax, because the money is coming in and you actually pay the tax based on your income. So the money you earn, if you're earning very low salary, then it's actually turn on the money you pay as your tax. So it's something that,
when we're talking about economy now, we're going to talk about the education. And then talking about education in Norway, it said it's mandatory for all children within the ages of 6 to 16. And then so it means that definitely, of course, you need to go to school, but then from 6 to 16, that's actually quite fair. And then for at least you're going to start from 6 and then to 16 years, and then you have the right. It said the school year in Norway runs from mid-August to late June the following year. They said the Christmas holiday from mid-December to early January historically divides the Norwegian school year into 2 terms. So it means they have just 2 terms in a year. That was actually interesting, and they said presently the second term begins the beginning of January, and then till when it gets divided into 3 parts: elementary, and then lower secondary, and then the upper secondary. So it's more like they love education as well over there, and then they do things that will actually bring people to understand what is going on in their own country, in their own state, and what they should do and what they should not do, and all of that. And then so students often have to change school when they enter lower secondary school, and almost always have to change school when they enter upper secondary school, as many schools only offer one of the levels. Okay, so that means if you're in this particular level, and then maybe you can actually change or switch to another school, just because. Okay, anyways, education there is actually one other interesting thing that I found over here. And they said that when you conclude your school career, I said upper secondary school aspire to graduate with diploma, and then is obtained by those who have passed all their subjects. Of course, if you don't pass your subject, you cannot attain the certificate or something, of course. So then, talking about their education over here, they actually take their time to train them very well. And then, because you're going to finish school, and then you definitely come and work with the government. So of course they wouldn't want someone that doesn't know what he's doing or doesn't understand the standards and rules in an organization for the person to come and work. So definitely you need to have a certificate that is going to stand and say, okay, this this is what I gained when I was in school and all of that.
And I think I love that, and that is why Norway is actually ranked to be one of the most literate, countries in the world, because they make it mandatory that you must be schooling, just like we actually stated here. So I think it's something the Norwegian government is doing, because we know that education is the basic for anything, it's a foundation. So for you to be able to contribute to the welfare of the country, you must be quite literate, And the change of school is actually something you get to mingle with other people, you get to have added knowledge. So I think if you actually take a good look at the educational sector over there in Norway, you know that they are doing great. And that's why we have lots of foreigners, actually schooling over there, and people actually making it quite well over there. If they don't have this what I say favoritism when it comes to whether foreigners are coming there. I mean, there are lots of things, they make you feel very at home, very friendly. So it's really something. That's why we have lots of people, when people go there, stories, they don't just live, but they want to stay there, and it's quite something.
At least you're going to a beautiful country like that, so why wouldn't you want to be peaceful? Like, you can't bring yourself that maybe you're not a good person or you're a bad person, you don't take it there and then go and show yourself. You can't go and embarrass your country. Talking about this their education part and how you should go to school and from the ages at which they go. There's something I learned again. One other fact about the Norwegians, they said their teenagers are more like the Americans. Like they said, they enjoy films, hanging out, and then with friends, playing all sorts of games and sports, watching movies, watching sports, and all of that. They said they enjoy outdoors, like they enjoy going out to have fun and all of that, And then he says here that they said the serious dating is discouraged for teenagers. Like, when I saw it, I was really smiling, like, it's discouraged for teenagers. But then they said they have an outing, like a dating time for them, which is when you are up to 18. That is when I
love that, because you're responsible by then.
Of course, at least by then that at least you're from your left, your right, so you know what to do and what not to do. You know who to talk to and who not to talk to. At least there are certain rules in homes and then maybe in schools, in organizations, and all of that. So when you talk about saying, okay, you're not up to 18, then you want to have a boyfriend. I mean, like, what do you want to say?
It's a source of distraction.
It's a source of distraction, because saying you need to be in school from 6 to 16, so at least by then you've attained one certain level in life that okay, at least you can actually stand for yourself, or you can do something. Not saying they said the actual time for you to be on your own is when you're 18. So I think that is when you have the right to now say you want to have a relationship, or you want to have. They said is in groups, because they said from 16 to 18, like, you don't need to have like one-on-one relationship with somebody, but then it should be in groups. Like, you go out in groups to hang out, to play games, to watch movies and all of that, and then you come back together. At least you're not distracted, in as much as you're in group, that you're not supposed to do something that is going to bring shame to your family or even to yourself.
Yeah, I think I really love that, because just like we look at the age limit, like, it makes you to be concentrated, and that's why it's mandatory for you to be schooling. And that it even tells on their crime rate, because when you are busy, study, you have little or no time to be focus on things that are not even related to education. So, and I really love that a lot. And so for our tourists, I would actually love to go there. There are lots of tourist sites that when you find yourself in Norway, you should actually try and visit one or two of it. And they said as of 2008, Norway ranked the 17th in the World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Report. When you look at the report, when it comes to competitions of about tourist site, I mean, Norway is actually ranked the 17th, and that really put them at a very high point when it comes to tourist site. Because when we start going down to each of these tourist sites, you really agree with me that actually they are ranked the 17th. And they said Norway, the tourism in Norway contributes to the 4.2% of their gross domestic product as reported in 2016. So you actually tell, and that's why they give lots and lots of attention to tourism. Because it also contributes to the GDP of that country. And they say everyone in 15 people throughout the country work in the tourism industry. So you could see that actually they don't have, when it comes to it just has to be only inhabitants or residents or just citizens of Norway. But they said out of 15 people throughout the country work in that place. So if you're in the midst of 15 people, you know that one person must be working in the tourist site. And they said tourism is seasonal in Norway, with more than half of the total tourists visiting between the months of May and August. That by then it's summertime, so lots of people tend to see, recreational activities.
Yeah.
What can we do during our midday activity? Are we hiking? Are we playing games? Are we, traveling? And especially, when we're going, there's one of their best means of when you want to really enjoy your stay is by rail. They really, really take care of their railroads, and it's really actually looking very great because you get to admire the beautiful mountains and everything that is happening there. And they said the main attraction of Norway are the varied landscape that extend across the Arctic Circle, and it is famous for the fjord, indented coastline and its mountains. And I've been talking about the mountains, like there are lots of mountains in that place, and we shall be going, like later on, we'll be taking them, just like I said, we'll be taking them one by one. So maybe you possibly take us to the first.
Okay, we have the Sognefjord. He said it's the largest of Norway's fjord, Sognefjord, and then he said it reaches 204 kilometers inland from the coastal village of Skolden and branches off into countless smaller inlets and fjords along the way. And then at the widest, the king of the fjords, as it's known by the Norwegians, is almost 5 kilometers across. And then the cliff walls reach as high as 1,307 meters, making a breathtaking sight. Like you can just imagine, like the most popular way to visit the fjord is by boat. And then the fjord cruisings and sightseeing stores are plenty. Many of the best store options depart conveniently from the attractive town Bergen, and then be sure to allow a full day for your adventure. Like talking about adventure, you just having fun over there is actually something very simple, because when you talk about nature, when you talk about seeing things that are just natural, they're just beautiful. So you can't tell me that there's a dull moment over there when you go to that particular place. So here is telling us here that when you're going to do anything over there, he said that the population over there, people who visit there, is by boat. Then that's to show how they do their things over there, like accordingly. And then sightseeing stores are plenty. So like there are a lot of places for you to visit, and there are a lot of things for you to do over there when you go, like when you're a tourist and all of that. Said side attractions and sightseeing and all of that. So like it's just very interesting for you to find yourself over there, and then you have something to do, you have something to have fun with, and then maybe to even walk or just go somewhere to have fun and then come back and be like, at least I didn't just waste my time today.
Yeah, that's why they said that make sure you allow full day for your if you really want to enjoy your adventure day, then you should make sure that if you have any other activity, you should suspend it, or you should have a proper calendar, that you can actually follow for you to really enjoy your adventure day. And another place, you could go explore the Vengeland Sculpture Park. And they said this iconic Vengeland Sculpture Park, which sits inside the Oslo famous Vårgård Park, is one of Norway's most famous tourist attraction. And they said the open year-round, this unique sculpture park is Gazi vegan lay work, and it contains 650 of its dynamic sculpture. This include the bronze, granite, wrought, irons, and they say majority of the sculptures are in 5 theme groups. So like there's a way they have the sculptures that are actually there. So if you're not actually visiting the Norway Fjord that we actually mentioned, you can actually just explore the the sculpture park, because there are lots of sculptures there you could feed your eyes on. Very beautiful works that will take you back to time memorial, things that has been happening. So I think it's really, the sculpture is really something that people should look out to, especially the people who have love for when it comes to paintings, love when it comes to anything that has to do with wonderful artistic works. I think this will be something that people will actually love to feed their eyes on.
Talking about the tourist sites again, we have another one here. We said the new National Museum. Of course, saying is new and then is a National Museum, so it means everyone can actually go there. So it's slated to open in 2022. It said Oslo New National Museum, it consists of collections from the National Gallery and the National Museum, architecture, as well as additional collections of contemporary art and design. The largest such museum is the Scandinavia. It will house the country's biggest art collection, featuring the works of Norwegian. That means it's actually yet to be established, but then is in process.
I think they said it will be launched in 2022 January.
Yeah, that's January. So that means it's been launched already. So it means if you want to know anything about art, about gallery, and then everything you want to know, like in the National Museum, you just go there. Since it said it's new actually, so it means it's less than a month or 2 over there. So then it said it houses the country's biggest art collection, featuring the works of Norwegian artists from the 19th century through the present, including the J.C. Dahl and several works by Edvard Munch, including his most famous work, The Scream. you know, like all the new museum right now consists of the different kind of arts and all the things that maybe it has been there since the 19th century. So it means like they have good things over there, even old things that people maybe they give children, maybe they tell them stories about. They can go there and then they will actually see it, and then they know, okay, fine, this is what they told us about, and right now we can actually see it live. So it's good that they keep in touch with all these things. Like they've not forgotten what they have, or they've not forgotten that they need to keep this in check, and people need to get to see it. Like people, tourists who will go there, people who are not even in the country and in that state, like they can just come there and then see things for themselves and know that, okay, at least we have known this thing, or we've seen it, we've heard about it, now we've seen it and we've touched it. And you know, people, a lot of people, tourists will want to snap pictures over there just to have something to say. At least when they come back from where they've gone to, they can say, okay, I've gone to this place, at least I have evidence, or at least I can remember I was here before and I've done this, I've done that. So like for the Norwegians to actually think it deep, to have a new national museum for people, so it means tourists can go there, even they over there, the citizens over there can actually visit there as well to see all sorts of things and still have fun.
I actually love the fact that the Norwegian government actually thought it wise. Something, memory is something we really treasure. History also, and it was so great. While I was studying about Norway, like they have quite a number of notable, people that actually live there. Like the example of, we have Edward Munch, Eric Ibsen. This is someone like I studied back then. I remember in school some of his plays, The Dollhouse and the rest. And it actually takes you back to, wow. I mean, Norway actually had lots of people, notable artists, painters, writers that actually came out of that country. So it's something that people, and also the generation unborn, can have time to study about some of these notable characters, notable painters that actually came from that country. And another tourist site, in case you find yourself there, is the Puppet Rock. And they said a tourist attraction is best suited for its active traveler thanks to the round-years journey required to get there. The Puppet Rock is nevertheless one of the most popular sites in Norway, and they said it's located at near the Stavanger destination. Requires a ferry or a bus ride for you to actually have a proper look at it. And they said it's a 2-hour up the hill hike to reach the utmost perfect top, for you to actually enjoy, and also to and the view, you actually take it from the top, so you get to enjoy the view, the colors.
Then if you have this stage fright, or if you have if you're scared of heights, then you should not go there.
Then you shouldn't go to the Puppet Rock, because it's quite scary, And another beautiful thing about that rock is the fact that it has more than 600 meters above the water.
Wow.
So you get to see not just the mountain, not just the purple, because it actually looks purple. When you look at the rock, it actually looks purple in color, stand off. And it has this very beautiful, the water tends to be like it's glittering, like there's some crystals coming out of it.
That's why it's natural and beautiful.
So it looks so beautiful. And they said those visiting the Stavanger area will also want to stop by the surprising, fascinating Norwegian canning museum, which is set up at the canning during the World War II. There was a war that actually took place there, and it's something that the Norwegians will never forget, and that's why they have this partnership with the British government, especially the UK. So there's this culture they have, every year they send a Christmas tree to UK.
So you were supposed to give me a Christmas tree now.
As a way of appreciating them for being supportive to them during the World War II. So it's actually one of the stories that the Purple Rock is something you really, really love to visit and have a good view of it.
Yeah, another tourist site again. In case you find yourself over there, you should go tour with the Royal Palace. That's, from just hearing that, you should know that there's something exciting about it. So it's located high up on the northwest end of Karl Jobbers Gate, and then said the Norwegian Royal Palace was built in 1825 and dominates the cityscape. Then the impressive 173-room building is open to the public for guided tours during the summer only. And then it said with English language guides available 4 times daily. And then it says here that the tours include the cabinet parlor, and then the clock room, the white parlor, mirror hall, great hall, and then all of that. So visitors are also free to wander the grounds and gardens or watch the regular changing of the guard year round. So like talking about this place, it's actually a beautiful place as well. And then it says here that it is located in the highest, is high up on the highest northeast end of Johan's Gate. And then here he's saying that when you get to that place, the royal palace, and the visitors are actually allowed to go there, for you to just go and sit there. They said you impress people. You see that. They said the building over there is open publicly, and then is guided by tours during the summer only. So it means if it's not summer, then you can't go there to the palace, to the royal palace, and then you can't go there to just. And then he said it's guided with English. Is available over there 4 times daily. So it means it's guided over there, and then you need, when you get there as a visitor, you know what you're supposed to do, you know what you're supposed to touch or not, and then you know where you're supposed to go to. Of course, the official language over there is Norwegian. So definitely if you go there and then you don't understand their language, at least you get to know that English, at least they speak English as well. So when they guide you with all those things, you know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, before you just go there and then go and touch something you're not supposed to touch, or you go and then do something wrong over there, and then it looks like you just did something wrong, and then they'll blame you for that. So like royal palace, the royal palace is actually another place in case you find yourself over there, you know you're supposed to visit there, but then it should be during the summer.
Yeah, you know, I love the fact that it's quite impressive because of the number of rooms. You know, I was actually looking at 173 rooms. You know, it's quite impressive. When you actually look at the building, it's quite big, quite beautiful. You know, it will bring to mind the various, you know, royal movies we watch, you know, when you look at the palace. So it's something for you to have a first-hand information. You know, you get to even snap some of the kings that rule during back in those days from the 18th, you know. So it's something quite impressive and quite, you know, admirable. You can admire everything there. Over there. And another tourist site there is the Tromsø, and it's situated 349 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. And they said the Tromsø is best known for its important role as the base for many major Arctic expenditures since the mid-1800s. And they said the Tromsø was first settled in the 19th century as a fishing village, you know, because I said apart from tourists and petroleum, they're also into fishing, you know, and it's the Tromsø is one of the first villages when it comes to that. And they said as a result of its northern position, the Tromsø is the top destination for those hoping to see the spectacular aurora borealis, or the northern lights. There's this light that normally take place, you know. It seems to be like 24 hours lighting, even though it's not really, because I think it's the way the weather changes. So it tends to be like this. There's a 24 hours day. And it doesn't happen always. It has a particular time it happens.
That's actually another fun part of it, you know. Then, of course, it says one fun things that it happens there in the town. And then they explain and explore the phenomenon, including the Polaria and the Polar Museum. So, you know, like the lighting is actually something that doesn't happen often. So then when it happens, you're excited to go and see it. And then, you know, it's beautiful. Being in such a country, why wouldn't you be happy always? Like knowing fully well that even when you're sad, you just see something beautiful. For people who love nature, when you're sad about something, and then like somebody like me, like when I'm sad or when I have a lot of things in my head and I'm not happy about certain things, there are places I can go to. Of course, we have beautiful places over here that is just full of nature, that you can just go there and sit down and see maybe a sightseeing, or maybe you go hiking or something like that. So of course, when you're in Norway and then you know that you want to go sightseeing or hiking and all sorts of things like that, you should find yourself there, and then at least you have fun, and then just get away some things from your head.
You know, the northern light, like when I was actually looking at the side, you know, there are lots of pictures to show the northern light. It's really something you appreciate God for, because it doesn't happen everywhere. It doesn't happen every day. So when you see it, for those who, you know, are denying the fact that God does not actually exist, you know that actually God exists, because that side is something you really need to behold, because it's very, very beautiful. You get to appreciate the sun, you get to appreciate the moon, the mountain, the water. Exactly, appreciate every nature and the way things are. So it's something that just in case you find yourself in a way, you should actually, you know, visit that side. But because we move to other tourist side, the etiquette, dinner, greetings, and other things, we'd like to take a time out, and when we come back, we shall move further to look at other fun things you can do during your midday activities in Norway. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, it's still the Midday Show live on ECWA TV Africa. We have been taking a ride around the city of Norway, and it has been a wonderful time. Me, Sela, Elisha Dasham, and also we have Linda Phillips, who have been doing this alongside me. And remember, we are live on Facebook and also on YouTube and also on the TV. Yeah, so you can get to connect with us anywhere, and you will drop your comments, and we hopefully to read some of those comments next week when we come back. We'll get to read about your comments and what you think about any of these countries we have been, taking a visit or a tour around. And we've been looking at some of the tourist sites in there, so we'd like to move forward to other tourist sites and possibly their media activities and other etiquettes they have there.
Yeah. So we're still talking about their midday activities over there. It said the international visitors flocked to the Scandinavian country to go fishing, hiking, skiing, and then to see the northern lights and to explore the incredible city of Oslo. Talking about the northern lights, that was what we talked about when you go visiting, that it happens once in a while. The people would love to go there to see how it's happening and how they have fun over there. And talking about when you visit the incredible city of Oslo, they said, but one thing that makes Norway particularly unique is the fact that sometimes, depending on the month, it gets 24 hours of sunlight. Wow. Okay, 24 hours of sunlight. They said the Arctic pole and surrounding countries experience a one-of-a-kind phenomenon called a midnight sun. So that's actually that's an incredible thing, like something that doesn't happen often, and then you realize it's happening there, a midnight sun. Just imagine, like, in the night and then there's sun, like it's something that you should, that is incredible, that is surprising, something that you should just ask yourself, really, this is actually happening and stuff like that. So it appears in the middle of the night for sometimes months at a time. So that means it doesn't happen often, it comes once in a while. So that's why people, when you find yourself there, you want to experience that thing, you want to see it, so you know that you've seen it as well. It's not that you've heard about it or you read about it, at least you've seen it, and then you know that you've experienced it as well. Then it says here that you can actually, depending on the month, which happens 24 hours, and then here it says it can be seen for the end of April through August. So that means it happens around April through August.
Yeah, they said it happened for months sometimes.
For months, yeah, sometimes.
So it's quite
actually interesting. I said the midnight sun, it makes it strong in the Arctic and fades progressively the further south you travel. They said in Norway, for example, the midnight sun manifests as more as a late afternoon or early evening sun. Regardless, though, he said it can make differentiating one day from the next incredibly difficult, as it remains light all day and all night. Then here it says when you want to explore over there in the Norwegian fjords, you know that you will definitely see something beautiful, something new, something you've never seen. Maybe some people have never heard of it. So then when you go there, you see it, and then even if you'll be surprised about, you act like, oh, you've not seen this, but at least you've educated yourself about some certain things about Norway. So Norway is just a beautiful country, a place that you can go, and then you find a lot of things that you will just tell yourself, at least you know all these things, and then you've seen all of them. So that their media activities, they have all of these, that have the lightning and the midnight sun, that happens in months and then once in a while and all of that. So then you tend to know that when you find yourself over there around that time, you have to experience that thing.
Yeah, I really love that midnight sun, you know, and inside it's quite difficult for you to differentiate one day from another because the sun is up in the middle of the night, so it tends to make you feel like, okay, it's already the next day and we're not yet in the next day, you know, so it's really something to, you know, to the sight to behold. And another midday activities you can actually do is to hike to the iconic natural wonders. There are lots of natural wonders there, the mountains, the waterfall, the viage that we're talking about. You could just, you know, lots and lots of beautiful natural wonders that you could look and then you're like, wow, actually you appreciate that God exists, and it's something that you admire and appreciate because it's something most of whether tourist side or even the Norwegians, these are things that you find them mostly doing. And another thing you could do there is to discover Norway's cultural highlights. They have lots of cultural highlights there, so it's something that you might want to, you know, is it looking at the advantage, histories, looking at a lot of things, like there are lots of highlights there for you to behold their culture. You learn certain things about them, so it's something you could keep yourself busy when you actually find yourself in Norway or somewhere in Sweden or Denmark. You can actually, you know, swim into Norway and do something great and wonderful.
And then, you know, another midday activity over there, it says here that you journey around Norway by train. So like that's one fun thing, like you just be in the train and then you journey around it like by train, and then you venture into remote Arctic circle. You know, that's the that circle that you when you're in it, like it waves like with you, and then you have fun and all of that, you know. And then said you have an epic road trip. And then here they said if you visit Oslo, which is Norway's capital, they said you will immensely enjoy the exciting mix of modern and historical furnitures. You know, like when you talk about nature and then all of these things, you just realize that everything is just exciting about Norway. And then having to go to Oslo, you know, when you say you're advising someone when he's going to Norway, you tell him, okay, when you go to Norway, you should visit Oslo, which is the capital. And then because it has a lot of things over there as well, and then you know that you have fun in Oslo, and then you know that you will do a lot of things over there. So Norway is undeniably one of the most beautiful places on this planet.
Quite beautiful, because if you actually look at the fjord we've been actually, you know, it's something that makes you quite beautiful. There are lots of vintage, just like you said, like especially the vintage ships that you could see back in those days. Like it's something memorial that you could actually keep, and you could have a picture as a tourist there because you can take it anywhere. So there are lots of cultural things, lots of vintage things that are no more there like before. So they have a museum that they tend to preserve all these things. So when you just find yourself around there, why not take a visit there, you know, feed your eyes.
Fun, and at least you should be excited, you should be happy, just make yourself happy. At least after all, you're there to have fun, or you're there even if you're not there to have fun. But there are a lot of things that you would definitely do just for you to be happy, for you to have fun, for you to be excited about. So Norway is one place that when you find yourself, there are a lot of things to do. There are a lot of tourist sites to visit. There are a lot of things to go, and then there are different kind of foods as well. So you see, when you find yourself, no, you cannot just say you will just keep on going on tours and all of that, then you will not eat. You understand? So then we're going straight to their foods, and then we'll understand what is made up and how they do all of that. And then here we have the fakikal, which is the mutton and cabbage. It says here that it is directly translated to mutton in cabbage. Then it's the Norwegian national dish. Then here it says that hearty and juicy. This recipe is surprisingly simple. Then here it says the farikal is similar to a stew. Mutton and cabbage are added to water and seasoned with salt and pepper. They said the stew is then cooked on the stove for several hours until the meat and cabbage are tender.
You know, you can actually prepare this meal here without actually going there.
Of course.
As far as you can have the cabbage, the montu, you know, that's all you need.
And then
that's
water,
the basic.
stew, salt and pepper. At least you know, and then you know you're going to use meat as well. So of course we can actually do that. We should try that, you know, so we know that
it's just that it has different name for this part of the world where we're coming from. And another meal here is the lapsuk stew. And they said the lapsuk is a much loved traditional Norwegian dish. It originates from German, but it has been enjoyed by Norwegians since the 1800s. Norwegians eat lapsuk for dinner any day of the week all year round. It's a wholesome and filling, particularly during the colder months, because it's more like a stew, a soup.
Okay.
So it's quite hot. So especially when the weather is quite
cold.
cold during the winter, it's a dish that Norwegians actually enjoy. Even though it's from the German, but Norwegians are actually taking over the whole meal, and it's really something they enjoy so much. You could tell that from having a taste of that meal, the feelings enough
you should know that
will actually make you hungry. If you're hungry, at the mention of that meal,
yeah, talking about their meal, we also have the wraps ball, which is the potato doubling. And here it says that the Norwegian food has more names than you can imagine. So depending on where you're coming from. So definitely it has different names, and then maybe you can like to call it anything, but then here they call it the wraps ball. And then said it is also it is the potato ball, club, combe, and comble, among others. The recipe also varies from village to village. So it means you can actually prepare it. It depends on where you're coming from and your village and all of that. The flour is mixed with boiled potatoes and mashed into a big ball of goodness. It says the mixture is then cooked on low heat. And then said the popular side dishes. See, we're saying all these things like you just see the process in which they make all these meals, and then even if you've not gone there, at least you can try it wherever it is you are. Just
have a feel of being in Norway.
Have the feel of it, so to know that even if you didn't go to Norway, at least you've had their dish already, or you're able to prepare their dish. And here it said the popular side dishes for wraps ball include mashed swede and then juicy sausages or tender lamb. And then as they are dumplings, some Norwegians eat them with sugar or syrup and crispy bacon on the side. He said at a traditional Norwegian restaurant, you may find that wraps ball is not served every day. It says only on Thursdays. Wow, it is due to an age-old tradition, especially in the western part of the country. So it means that all this meal that they have, especially for this wraps ball, you don't eat it often. But that means when you go to restaurants, you don't find them, except if you have a particular urge to eat that or cravings for that, then you just go there on a Thursday. That's only when you'll be served that. That's only when you can get that to eat. So then it's saying it happens only when it happens in different places actually. But then it says here that it's in the western part of the country, which so it means in other parts of the country you can actually get it. But then when you find yourself in the western part, then you just have to wait on a Thursday if you want. So in case if we find ourselves there and then we want to eat wraps ball, we should wait for a Thursday.
We go there to
have it.
And another meal there is the brunus, which is the brown cheese. If you truly want to discover a unique Norwegian food, you have to try the brunus. That's the brown cheese.
Yeah.
And they said the brunus is a traditional Norwegian cheese made with either milk or cream, and brunus can be made with both the cow and the goat's milk. It's really something quite beautiful. Even though I don't love cheese a lot, but as a side of that brown cheese, wow.
I just know you want to dive on it.
I was already having goosebumps, I was having cravings for it already. And they said due to its flavor, it is used in many different ways. Brunus can be used on sandwiches, wafers, sausages, and even in ice cream. And they said this is a product that is not produced anywhere in the world. Hence, it is a must for you to try and visit Norway, because you're not going to find it any other place in the world.
Except in Norway.
Or except in Norway, because I think they have this peculiar way of preparing the brown cheese. So even if you want to try it over here, you might not actually get it perfect.
Taste,
So except you have someone in Norway, they can actually take you through. But then it will still give you the urge to visit Norway, because you really need to try this brown cheese. So it's really something. Possibly we'll try it someday.
Of course we should. At least let's have a feel of it. Not that we've not gone there, but at least we've eaten it, you understand? And then here he's talking about the waffler waffles. He said the Norwegian waffles are a staple of the country's cuisine. He said, and it's one Norwegian food that has traveled well. So Norwegian waffles are a staple of the country's cuisine, and it's one Norwegian food that has traveled. He said it is because the Norwegian church abroad serves around 30,000 waffles a year to Norwegians and foreigners who visit the churches located all over the world. Wow. So that means it's more like it's a meal that they share to people, and especially to churches. We said they're a Christian country, and then so they do all of these things for Christianity, and then they don't waste food over there. Then said this particular waffle, he said, is not to be wasted. And then he said here that the most common recipe includes flour, sugar, baking powder, milk, eggs, butter, and plenty of spices, the most common being cardamom. He said the waffles, like so many other Norwegian foods, have local varieties. In most the western parts of Norway, they eat waffles with their hot dogs. Wow. Okay, that's actually it's actually feeling somehow, but then it's
even though it looks somehow, but then possibly when you try the mix, you actually enjoy it. You enjoy it better, because I love the waffles.
I love waffles actually
a lot. So I believe it's something we should like. You know, we've been talking so much about their food, and I think we should take a look at their society, their cultures. It's something we should just know about the Norwegians and what they do. And the first thing about them is that many of the family consists mainly of a nuclear family. So it's unlike other countries that we visited, especially I think Belarus, where they love staying together. Like extensive family. But here in Norway, you mostly find nuclear family, because that's the way the culture is there. And another thing, they said marriage is not a prerequisite to starting a family. So you don't need to be married to start a family. You can adopt, you know, to have a family together. I think since they're a Christian country, so I believe that they shouldn't they should really advise people, because people mostly feel that I should only have a family when I'm married. But you could actually have, of course, I mean, the family is not just about blood.
Actually,
so it's something,
talking about their family, it says here that many couples live together without legalizing the arrangements with marriage. He said, therefore, it is best not to make presumptions about people's marital status. Of course, there are people that can say, I don't want to get married, but then I want to have a family. Then they can actually adopt. And then there are people that will live together, not that they're married maybe in the church or maybe culturally or anything, but then they live together, and then they tend to adopt children, and then they live with them. That's a family. Like now that you said, is one of their societal culture. So then they live with it, and then it is something that they've come to live with, and then they've accepted it over there. So it's more like they can stay together and then love each other, and then not even want to have maybe not to get married, but then have a family.
Well, it's quite beautiful, but so that people don't get carried away, I think it's best, just like they say, don't have presumptions about people marital, their marital cultures. And another thing about the women, even though we stated it earlier on, but in another way, is the fact that women are highly respected in business, and they are generally receive equal pay, and they have access to senior positions. So it's not about your gender at all, but it's all about your qualification and what you're able to offer. So women have equal pay, women have equal taxes. So about being a position, you can be a woman and still have a very high position.
And that's where education is compulsory over there. At least you know that you're educated, so that you have something to offer. So they can't see you and say, because you're a woman, you can't offer anything, or because you're a woman, you can't do anything. So they can't give you job, or they can't respect you. Here they say as well, they said Norwegian women expect to be treated with respect in the office. So of course, not the fact that because of your gender, then they say they can't respect you or you don't deserve it. So you see, they actually have all about this, their culture, and then they still work towards that. So then you understand that even business women are direct and can be skilled negotiators. So they can actually, of course, they went to school, of course they are educated, so they know what to do and how to go about it and what to do. So they are respected over there. So their business is over there. They can actually work at any time. They can actually do anything. So that is why they are respected. That's why they are allowed to make decisions as well.
And I love it, the fact, because sometimes when you have business partners, men don't like having any negotiation with women. They feel if a woman is the one having the pitching, I don't want to hear what pitch she has, because she's a woman. So possibly she will not present anything great. But that is just to tell us that it's not happening. Norwegian women are very intelligent, and they have brilliant and great ideas. And another thing about Norway is some of their etiquette and manners. They said greetings are casual and with a firm handshake, direct eye contact, and a smile. So just like I'm looking at you and having a very beautiful smile on your face, and also I'm having a smile on my face, and the handshake.
So it shows you love that person. It shows there's a connection. You understand? It's not like maybe when you want to say hi to somebody and then you're throwing your face somewhere and then you don't want to look at the person. But then maintaining direct eye contact says it all. At least you know that this person actually loves you. There are sometimes that things things you do with your eyes shows that you're not really into this person or stuff like that. But then, you know, when you want to say hi to somebody, it should come from your heart. It shouldn't be that somebody is forcing you to say hi to him. So then maintaining eye contact and then handshake and with a smile, so it shows you're welcoming that person even in your own home as well.
And I really love the fact that that is what they do. And, you know, they said another thing, you should wait to be invited before you can actually call someone with their first names. So I can't just call you Linda except I'm being invited.
Okay.
So that means to be casual, you start with the possibly Miss Phillips, because it's being, you know, formal. But then when we're getting very conversant, we're getting used to that, I can use the first name to call you.
It says here that shake hands and say goodbye individually when arriving or departing. It says shake hands with people on a first come first serve basis. So you know that this their etiquette is actually something, is good manners. You understand? Like you don't just see someone and then you can't say hi to that person, or you see someone and then you can't just talk to the person, or you can't just meet the person and say hi. It's actually a compulsory thing, which is their etiquette, and then it is actually good manners there in Norway. So when you find yourself in Norway as a visitor, or you're there to tour, and then you should know that when you meet any of the Norwegians, you should know how to go about it, to shake hands, to maintain eye contact, to smile, and then to actually do all sorts of things, so you get to understand this is how it is. So before you get there, you should try to learn some certain things about them, so you don't just go there and then you look like you don't know what's happening over here.
You know, it's really been so great, and you know, I feel like I'm already in Norway right now because I'm having the feeling of being a Norwegian already, you know. And I think you've really done a great job with me. I am really happy because you're always here with me. Well, that is how far we can go on the show today. Midday show live on ECWA TV Africa. And this is to say a very big thank you to our contributors, a very big thank you to the Echo executive that's given us a platform like this that we can actually, you know, convince people and also know some of the media activities that takes place. It's really a great one. Until we come your way again, same time next week, Tuesday by 2 p.m. Remain blessed.